Absolutely.
Hi.
Go right ahead. Yes, please.
Okay, the photo that I see, it is about a cemetery, and all everything is green. It inspires me, peaceful, and I am thinking at all my closely no, I'm thinking at my relatives that passed away, and this gives me a power to be um, I don't know.
That's okay.
I don't know. Sometimes I don't know. I'm trying to explain something, and I don't have so many words.
That's okay. That's very common, and that's why we do these sessions because it kind of gives you some practice, and then also we can all help you with finding some words. So, one thing you can do when you find yourself at a loss for words, try describing it a different way. Sometimes you'll find that it's easier to back up and change what it is you were about to say
Okay.
using some different words. Go right ahead.
Um. Well, I don't know. I don't know. So the this landscape gives me um, gives me some feelings about my grandparents, for instance, because they passed away, and um, sometimes I visited their grave, okay, and I am praying for them.
And whenever you're done, you let me know when you're done. I don't want to break in and
Yes,
assume you're done if you're just thinking. So don't be afraid to let me know when you're done. And hello, Serbi. It's nice to see you again. Go ahead, Mahela. Mahela? Um, were
yes.
you done, or do you want me to? Do you want to keep going?
I am done, but I don't know what else I could say about this. I don't know.
Sure.
You can give me an idea?
Sure, sure. Okay, you had some good words in here. You talked about the cemetery, and I think you even said something about the graveyard, which again is another term for that. You talked about how everything's green and makes you feel peaceful, so that was a nice perspective. Um, you talked about the relatives that passed away, and that is how we would, one of the terms that we use. Um, it's a nice way of saying that they're dead, but we often say passed away. Um, and then you were talking about the power to something, and you lost the vocabulary. And I know that especially when you're talking with someone, it's very, very hard once you stumble to get your thoughts reorganized to find those words again. But I appreciate you trying to keep going. That was a good effort, and that's one of the reasons that we do these sessions, because it helps us get that practice, but also shows us where we need a little bit of work. Um, and so vocabulary, of course, is going to be one of those things. And it's very, very common. Don't feel like you're the only one. It's very common for any of us learning a new language and we start using it. It's hard
Yes,
to, you freeze up. You know the words, but all of a sudden you freeze. And so that's why practice is so important. And so I encourage everyone to connect and get that practice because it will make it easier the more you do it. Go ahead. You were going to say something?
thank you for your advice. It is very well for me to to um, to receive some good advices from you, and I'm very happy to be part of your team.
Well, thanks. We're happy to have you. I did want to give you a little bit more. You talked about the landscape, and you said
Okay.
it gives you some things. And I think you were talking about some things that you think of. One of the ways that we would say that sentence is that this landscape or this scene brings to mind. That means it makes us think of something related. So
Oh,
it would bring to my mind, a thought, something like that. So that's another way that we would mention that. And then, of course, you talked about visiting their grave and praying for them and things like that. So that was very nicely done, and I appreciate you joining us today to share those thoughts with me. Um,
thank you.
awesome, thank you. Okay, so if you want to go ahead and let me know who's next, Serby, it's nice to see you again. It's always nice for me when I get to see people that I've known and I haven't seen in a while. And as some of you know, I was on vacation for a bit, but I'm back. So it's nice that some of you are still joining me. So Zinru or Serby, Suresh, would somebody else like to go next? Serby?
Yeah, hi Cindy. It's nice
Hi.
to see you again. I don't know what you people are talking about. Can you please briefly explain me?
Yeah, we're just describing the photo that we have here, using whatever vocabulary words you want to use. You can tell me how it makes you feel. You can tell me what you see. Um, any of that. I want to say you used to be in my sessions when we did that. Thank you, Zinru. So anything you want to do. Zinru says he can go next. Do you want him
Yeah,
to go, and then you can kind of get a feel?
yeah, I'm fine with that. You can go.
Awesome. Okay. Zinru, go right ahead.
Thank you, Cindy. It's a long time not for here, been here.
Yeah, it's nice to
And
see you.
yeah, me too. And I see this picture, and that the first thing I see uh, is a big graves, which reminds me that in the West culture, grapes is very peace. And in my culture, and when we see that grave, um, the first thing come to my mind is ghost. Yeah, and awful things, devil, something like that. That's the different cultures about graves, and I can see uh, the town in this picture is very big and very attractive. I'm not sure the correct word I said. And the tallest building is the castle or the fort. Um, I think uh, maybe a church. I don't I don't exactly know that. So and maybe this town is a little bit crowded because I can see um, the houses in the picture is is kind of crowded. And also I can look further to the picture. That is a farm over there, um, and a power plant. Um, and well, the sky is some foggy, so it's not that clearly to uh, see the further things in this picture. And well, I have to say this this town is very beautiful, covered by so many green trees, meadow, and all of the green things. Uh, because in my country, in my city, I always saw that just building, but not trees, and it's more proven in this way. So that's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Inru. It's always nice to listen to you.
Yeah.
You mentioned the difference in culture, and that was a nice perspective. I like that. And the, the first thing that comes to your mind is ghosts. Some people perceive them
Yeah.
as devils, and yeah, that can often. I have to say, I've spent a lot of nights in graveyards because because when I was growing up and we were camping and traveling. If we just wanted to stop and get a few hours sleep and then move on, we would stop at a graveyard because nobody really goes in there at night, and so nobody would come in and say, "Oh, you got to leave." So it was it was an easy place to pull over, and I say that, and a lot of people get really kind of uneasy when I say that. But there were no ghosts; everything was fine. My mother actually loves graveyards because there's so many on the tombstones. There's so much information sometimes that people put on those.
Yeah.
So it's
And
kind of neat to go look. Go ahead.
Yeah, and histories. Yeah.
Yes, much history. My mother actually found one where the dates must have been messed up because they had the child dying before, or the mother dying before the child was born, and yet they referred to each other as the mother and daughter. So yeah, it's interesting the kinds of things that you can find there. You mentioned something on the houses, and I think you said the word crowded. I wasn't quite sure if you were saying crowded or cottage. Crowded?
Crowded.
Okay, that the houses are crowded. And I also wanted to mention, you said the word town, and the first time you said it, it was a little hard, but then you caught yourself, and the next time you said town, oh, it was perfect. It was very easy to understand. You got that OW sound in there. So that was awesome. And then the other thing, I'm not sure if it broke up a little, but I had a little trouble. You said the sky is foggy or smoggy. Do you remember which one you said? Foggy? Okay. And just for information for the group, smoggy is when you have smog in the air. It's when you have pollution, and you'll have that haze that's over there. Whereas fog is a natural phenomenon, so that there is a difference.
Yeah, I know. Sorry.
No, it was fine. And I also like that you mentioned the meadows there. I love green expanses myself, and this is a very pretty picture, I thought. So anyway, very nicely done, and thank you for putting that in.
Thank you.
I did have one other question. You talked about the town is very big, and there was another word in there, and I want to say, was it chaotic? Do you remember what you...
No.
Okay, that's okay.
It's, I find there were as I just type in the chat box.
Okay. Oh, archaic. Yes, very old.
Yeah, archaic.
Yes,
yeah.
That's good. Thank you. Thank you for clearing that up for me.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Very nice. Okay. Hello, Manish. And so let's go ahead and have someone else give this a try. Serbi, are you ready? Or Gil, do you want to give this a try? Manish, we're just describing the picture. You can tell me how it makes you feel, describe what you see. It's just a chance to practice our English and get a little feedback. Okay, Serbi, wonderful. Okay, go right ahead, Serbi.
Okay, so so there is a cemetery here and a church, and I think there is an old castle maybe, and so I think this it seems like it is a little bit away from the town, this graveyard, and it's looking very peaceful area, and so the first thing that comes into my mind, like we have a different culture from this. So like in our culture, it is like we do the cremation, and we and we collect the ashes and then pour into the river. But I really like this culture also. Like um, I used to see these on movies. I never seen it with my real eyes. So, but it seems very peaceful whenever I see this graveyard. It seems very peaceful when people come here to grieve uh, uh, for their what you can say for their beloved. Uh, uh, so
Can I help you?
yeah,
Here's the word I think you're looking for. They come to mourn.
mourn for their beloved. Uh, yeah, I think that's it.
No, that was great, and thank you for sharing the difference in culture. Um, it never occurred to me that somebody would not have seen these kinds of tombstones. Um, yeah, it didn't even occur to me. I'm just so used to them being around. The newer cemeteries here don't usually have the upright tombstones like this. You'll find a lot of them, they're just plaques on the ground, just a square plaque. But these have so much character. It's nice for me because I like ghost towns and places like that anyway, and so it's kind of neat to see some history there. I like that you mentioned the thing that looks like a castle and that it might be a church next to it. That would be a very good guess because often, especially these older cemeteries, were found in or adjacent to the churchyard. And there is a very old term where they talk about a churchyard when really they're referring to a graveyard, and that is because um, the cemeteries were often adjacent to or in. So that was a nice thing that you noticed there. Um, and let's see.
Like,
When you mentioned, go ahead.
is there any history with this? Like, if there is a old castle, is it like?
I lost you a little bit. Can you repeat the question?
Is there any history about it? There will be always next to the church. There will be always a old castle, or it's just a coincidence.
No, there you should be able to find it in some history books. I don't know how commonly it's mentioned. You know, like if you go to the school history books, it may not show up, but if you are into studying that kind of thing, you should be able to find um, that it's documented that it's common to in the old days, and I mean like 100 years ago and stuff, that they would uh, put a graveyard with the church there, especially since America used to be, its people were a lot more religious back then, more devoted to their religion, and so of course the traditions around the deceased often had to do with involving the clergy class. So that's another reason that it would be there because it's just a logical place to put it. Um, so yeah, and I like that you mentioned that people sometimes come there to mourn or to remember their dead. Some people um, find a connection to their loved ones by being able to visit the grave site of the people that they've lost. And you mentioned that you've never seen this with your own real eyes. We would say never seen it in person, never seen it with my own eyes. Both of those are equally acceptable ways to say, you know, you've never visited a cemetery. So that was very nicely done. Thank you. And it was nice to have that cultural contrast that you mentioned. So thanks for bringing that into the discussion. Okay, does somebody else want to take a turn? We have Jimmy has joined us.
I,
Go ahead.
I,
Who's
I,
talking?
I can try if it's possible.
Gil. Okay, nice, nice. Real quick, before you do, Jimmy, the person that just joined us, can you turn your mic on mute and turn your video off? Just turn your mic on mute while others are speaking, and that'll help me to hear. Thank you very much. And if you turn the video off, it just helps the session run a little smoother. So thank you very much for joining us, and we'll get to you here in a bit. Gil, go right ahead. It's your turn.
Okay, so I will start. I think I see it's a combination with many things like a church and a graveyard. When I see it, I didn't travel in this way. So what I see, it's my imagination is talking. Because in our country, in Israel, we didn't have places like that. And when I travel only in Europe, and I didn't see places. So I will describe what I see and what I feel when I see this picture. So first of all, I feel that we have a, a, a dark bed, no, a dark, we have a cemetery in a village where it is very close to people live here, and it's in one hand it's it makes a little sad feeling when we see a cemetery where people are live, and their house is very closely to the cemetery, but in the other hand, when we see this landscape from the air, I mean from the upper up than the higher no, I mean when we are in the no I want to say that when we are see this landscape when we in in front of the upper, and not from the eyes of the men, so we see as in amazing picture, because we have here if I said that we have a sad feeling, that we have here a happy feeling, because there are people are living together, and it's like in a village and not a city where it's traffic and transportation, and we have a lot of sounds and noise. And here it's sound. It's like a quiet and relax for people who is living here. That's all I think.
That was good. Thank you. It was a nice viewpoint, and the way that you concentrated on the village there a little bit more kind of brought the rest of the picture in. That was nice. You talked about it being a combination of many things, and you were able to bring your whole talk into to support that. You mentioned there's nothing like that in Israel, so I assume you must have a different ritual of what you do with those that you've lost. So that might be an interesting discussion sometime as well. And you mentioned you didn't see them in Europe, although I would say Europe probably has them. You just didn't see them. We talked about, let's see, hold on. You mentioned a sad feeling. Suresh, can you put the word somber, the definition up there? That's another word that you can use.
Which word
That's the
again?
spelling, somber.
Okay.
Suresh, go ahead and pull that up for me if you would. You also talked about the vantage point being up higher, kind of like this is. It's up on a hill, it looks like, kind of looking down at things. So we would talk about the vantage point. And a vantage point is going to be whichever point you're viewing it from. So it could be something, your vantage point might be lower, it could be up higher, anything. And thank you, Suresh. And we also would say maybe a higher elevation. Again, you were talking about the vantage point looking down on the city. And hello, Mohammed. It's nice to have you here with us today. And then you mentioned possibly having a view from the air. Sometimes we refer to that as being a bird's eye view. For obvious reasons, since the birds are always looking down at us when they're flying overhead. You also talked about how it is a quiet and relaxed atmosphere and not a hectic life, and I'm going to put that word in here because we use that. A hectic lifestyle is often found in cities where the pace of life is just faster. We tend to pack more into our day. And when you get out to the countryside and places, small towns, it's a lot easier to have a slower pace in your life. So you'll see a contrast there, especially when we talk about it. You also talked about the sounds and noise. One thing that we sometimes talk about is noise pollution. And that's just when you have a city that just has lots of noise all the time. All the time. You have the sirens, you have the cars, you have people, you have just the daily life is just very busy. And when you have a lot of that noise, some people will refer to that as noise pollution. So you had a lot of nice viewpoints there, and thank you for sharing those. It was
Thank
very
you.
good. Yeah, that was awesome. Hello, Manish. It was nice. Oh, wait a minute. Manzi, sorry. It's nice to see you again. For those that have just joined, we're just describing the picture. Use whatever words you want. Tell me what you see. Tell me how it makes you feel. Give me a related experience. It's just a chance to use your English skills. So Zinru has gone. Serbi has gone. Mahela here has taken a turn. And Gil just went. So does anyone else want to take a turn describing this, and I'll see what I can add to help. Either put your name in the chat box or take your mic off and let me know. Jimmy, do you want to give this a try? Manish? Mohammed? Manzi?
I can try.
Okay. Okay. Hi. Okay,
How's it
Jimmy, I
going?
have not met you before, so can you tell me where you're from and why you're learning English?
Yeah, I'm from Boston. I'm just trying to increase my fluency in English.
You're from where?
Boston, Massachusetts.
That's what I thought you said.
Yeah.
So you're living there now, but you said you're trying to improve your English, so I assume you're not native born?
No, I'm not.
Okay, where are you from? Where were you born?
I was born in China.
China. Okay, well, you're quite fluent now. I mean, I can hear a little bit, but you're doing quite well. So it's nice to meet you,
Nice to meet you.
and we'll see if I can find something to pick on you for.
Okay.
Because you might give me a challenge
Okay.
for this. But yeah, how long have you lived in Boston or here in the States, I should ask?
Around like 5 years, 5, 6 years.
Okay, 5 or 6 years. Awesome. All right, well, welcome to Speak Alley, and thanks for joining me here in the session. So go right ahead, and I'll see what I can help with.
All right, thank you so much. So
Mm-hmm.
I see a picture of a cemetery. There's a bunch of trees and houses. You can see a castle right on the left side. Um, let's see. It's pretty peaceful. You can't see any people, so you can see it's pretty isolated from human beings. Uh, I don't think there will be a place in Boston similar to this kind of atmosphere place, if I should say. Let's see. You can see a bunch of houses far away. So like what Gil has said, the elevation is pretty high, so you're able to see different like far away. Um, let's see. I mean, that's all I have. I don't have much to
That's
say.
okay. That's fine. Thank you. Um, it was a nice comparison. You talked about Boston. I know enough about Boston. I've never been there, but I know enough about it to know that that is a busy place.
Yeah.
So I can see how you would make that comparison. That was nice. Um, the I'm going to add a word. I haven't heard it yet, but tranquil. We've talked about it being peaceful, relaxing. Um, Another word for saying that kind of a feel is a tranquil setting. Um, you talked about a bunch of houses away. I'm assuming you mean in the distance or in the background. And far away, the line where the land meets the sky, we would call that the horizon. So you had some real good stuff in there, and thank you for all of that. And nicely done, and hopefully we'll see you again. It'll be nice to have that, and take a look around. And you guys, I want to encourage you while we're in these sessions, if you put your user ID in the chat box, then you can kind of connect with each other later and be able to get more practice in and learn from each other, because these sessions are not enough to get really fluent. We just do our best to help, but there's only one of me, and there's other volunteers, but we're trying to get as much done as we can. So don't be afraid to get in there and practice, because even just practicing with other learners, you're going to become more fluent. So don't be shy. Put your stuff up there. And Suresh, if you want to put mine up there too, that way they can always, if they have a question or anything, they can always contact me. Thanks. Okay. Let's see. Manish, Manzi, Mohammed, anybody else want to take a turn? You don't have to. I just like to make sure everybody's included. Otherwise, we close the session. Suresh, you want to try? I'm just going to let anybody here just jump in if you want to take a turn before we close the session. Go ahead, Suresh. Okay. Well, if everybody's going to be quiet on me, then I guess we'll go ahead and wrap this up. And I did want to thank everyone for joining me today. And it's always nice to see people I've known. No, Suresh, I couldn't hear you when you had your mic off. Do you want to try it again? Go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, he's speaking. The mic's not working. Okay. Sorry. Anyway, I will post another photograph. Also, we're going to be developing some other stuff for those of you that are preparing for tests. We'll be developing some sessions to help you with those, or at least give you some practice so that you can prepare and get some feedback for like the IELTS or the TOEFL test, and be designed specifically for those that are doing that. So hopefully you guys will join us for that. Keep an eye on the calendar that's on the practice page, and I'll let you know what session is coming up. Also on the trending page, because I will be posting the photographs that we're going to use, things like that on there. So I'll be back on Thursday at the same time. and hopefully I will get to see all of you again. And we're also posting some other stuff on the blog, so write. I'm trying to get on the trending page every day, and if somebody, yes, Pan, Zinru, yes, it is the same time. And the one on Saturday is going to be a half hour later, but close to the same time. Anyway, if you write something on the trending page, I'll take a look and see what I can comment on. And if you want to write something longer, write me, because we'll do a special session just for your essays so that we can go over that and help with that writing as well. So thanks, everybody. And it's nice to see everybody again. And I'm going to take just a moment. I've got to make a couple of notes, and we will get this video posted on the blog so that you guys can review it. And we'll get some different vocabulary words up there so that we can learn a little extra. So thanks again, and we'll talk to everyone later. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Sandy.